boys and girls, Mrs. Young is here. I am so excited to teach this lesson with you all today. We are going to be painting snowmen. So go ahead and get your canvas and let's get started. So I'm going to teach you all how to draw out the snowman on your canvas. Here's kind of an example of the pre-drawing. But I want you all to keep in mind that these are just suggestions and ideas, okay? You do not have to draw yours exactly like mine. This is a fun lesson. I want you all to use your creativity. I want you all to have fun and relax. Please don't worry about making it look perfect or exactly like mine. Okay, so keeping that in mind, we're gonna first start drawing this top of the snowman's head, and the snowman's made up of 3 spheres, okay? So the snowballs are not 2-dimensional flat circles. They're actually 3-dimensional forms, okay? So a sphere has volume. So when we paint our snowman, we're going to show that. Okay, so I'm gonna start by just sketching out the head of the snowman, but I'm not going to finish it at the bottom there. I'm gonna leave that open a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna work on the scarf. Again, if you have some other way you want to design your scarf, that's fine. I'm gonna go all the way over, okay? And then I made this one a little bit differently. On this one, I'm gonna just kind of go down and then come out here to make the scarf, okay? And later on, if you want to add stripes, polka dots, you could add fringe. Later on, you can do that with your paint, okay? So just hold off on your details for now. So let's go ahead and draw the body. And I don't like to make mine perfectly round because maybe it's melted just a little bit in the snow. Or whoever was making this wasn't packing the snowballs super tight. Okay, so there's the body of my snowman. And then for the bottom, the base, you can go ahead and draw all the way around. And traditionally, okay, boys and girls, the proportion of the snowman is going to be large, medium, small. But again, it's up to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on his face. So this one's looking kind of up in a way. If you want it to look straight at you, you would draw the nose going downwards, okay? So we're gonna put our 2 coal eyes. And then our carrot nose also is not a flat 2-dimensional triangle, it's actually a cone shape, okay? So we're using math in our drawing. Then I'm gonna work on the coal for the mouth. And boys and girls, snow is a form of precipitation, so that's science, okay? We have weather in here as well. All right, so there's my face of my snowman, and now I'm gonna work on the arms. And the arms are made out of branches. Okay, so don't worry about making those perfectly straight. And I know I'm going super, super fast. Your teachers are welcome to pause this video or rewind, go back, replay, whatever you need to do, okay? Because I don't expect you all to be going this fast. Okay, so however direction you want your arms to be facing, and then later on when I'm painting, I'm gonna paint some of those wood grain lines on the arms. Okay, so just for a little extra detail, I'm gonna hang an ornament from the arm of my snowman, and you could personalize this, something that you're into, okay? I'm gonna just put a heart, and then you could even put an initial inside there or your name. You could put 2020, okay? But again, wait to add the details until you paint later. Don't forget your buttons. You wanna change the shape of these buttons, that's fine. Okay, later I'm gonna add the buttonholes and I'm gonna put little details there. Okay, so now I'm gonna draw the line for the snow, and I'm not gonna make it straight across because the snow's kind of drifting around. So again, later on when I'm painting, I'm gonna add these snow drifts in. Okay. All right, so the cool thing about this is I know you all don't have a lot of paint. You only have a little bit. So you can just leave your snowman white, okay? And you can leave the snow down here white. And I'm gonna show you how you can just add some highlights with your paint. And we're just gonna be painting the sky around it, okay? So I'm gonna start out by, and I'm using a large brush. I know you all have smaller brushes, that's fine. Normally I wouldn't tell you to get your paintbrush really wet before you touch the paint, but I'm gonna ask for you to dip your paintbrush in the water. Some of you have darker blue, some of you have lighter blue. You do not need a lot of paint for this part, okay? Because we want it to kind of look like a snowy sky. So the paint is gonna be pretty thin. It's not going to be thick and textured. So I'm gonna add some more water. And if you started painting in this direction, side to side, you want to continue that all the way down to the bottom. Okay. It's okay if you get a little bit of paint inside your branches for the arms. You can always go back and just paint over the arms, okay? That's why you don't want to do a lot of detail work before you get those base colors layered in. It's hard to paint around stuff. Okay, so I really have not used a lot of paint at all. I've used barely any. I'm gonna touch my water again, get a little water on my brush before I go to the big areas. Now you don't want to put too much water because then it's just going to be a puddle, okay? And I'm sorry that I can't be there in the classroom with you all, but this year this is as good as it gets, right? We're all being creative and working with what we have, and your teachers have worked really, really, really hard with you all this year, so I hope you give them a big thank you because this has not been easy, but you all are doing a great job. Okay, so I'm just finishing this up. Now, what you can do while you're painting your blue is if you have some white and you want to just get a tiny bit of white paint and add it in there a little bit to make your sky look a little more snowy, you can do that. Or if you have the dark blue and you want to add white to it to make light blue, okay, that is called a tint, T-I-N-T. When you add white to a color, you get a tint. Oops, there goes my table. Okay, so just gonna finish this up. And I'm gonna move on, but if you all don't get done, like I said, don't worry. You can always come back and pause. Okay, so later on, I'm gonna come back and work on my sky, and I'm gonna put a little bit of snowflakes, okay? But that's gonna be later. So this is good for now. I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, I'm gonna wash that brush out really good. Wipe it off with my paper towel. And I know that I have shared this before, but you wanna make sure when you get paint on your brush, okay, that you're only getting paint on the bristles of the brush. All right, you don't wanna get it on the barrel, that's the gold part, because this part will never touch your canvas, so you're gonna waste paint. So you just get paint on the very tip of the brush. I'm gonna go in, so I usually work top to bottom when I'm painting because look what's gonna happen with my arm, right? So it's kind of tricky. Start at the top, and I'm gonna paint my eyes in black. If you would like to use a different color, feel free. This is just a suggestion. And then, okay, so a few of you have orange, some of you don't have orange, but if you don't, you have yellow. So I'm going to just give you guys a little color mixing really quick. For the nose, you have red, so you're going to put a little tiny layer of red, and then you're going to add yellow on top of that, and red plus yellow equals orange. Okay, so there's your carrot nose. Red and yellow makes orange. Okay, and then I'm gonna wash my brush again. Again for the buttons, so you could paint them red, yellow, and blue. I'm gonna make mine green, so I'm going to add yellow first, and then I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of blue on top of that, and that makes green. So yellow and blue make green. If you don't feel comfortable mixing the colors, don't worry, you can always just use what you have there, okay? All right, so I'm gonna wash my brush out again. Let's work on the scarf. Okay, so I have red, and I'm gonna put a little bit of this red down, and I'm gonna add a tiny bit of white because red and white make pink. Okay, so I'm just showing you all how to make some more colors if you want to use other colors too. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to make my paint go on there a little bit smoother. So you can always add white to a color to make it lighter. That's a tint. And you can always add black to a color to make it darker. That's called a shade. Tints and shades. This red paint I'm using is not that good. You all have a better red. I'm just painting mine in a solid color, but you could do stripes, you could do polka dots, whatever you want to do. Okay, so while I have this red on my brush, because I know I want to paint my little heart over here, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. Sometimes if you already know you're going to use that color again, it's better to just not wash your brush out and just use it wherever you're going to use it, okay? So there's my scarf, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of white for some highlights, some reflection. All right. Okay, let's work on his arms. So you have brown paint. I'm going to touch the water. I'm going to get a little bit of water in this brown. And I'm going to paint in my branches. Now, the branches are also three-dimensional, right? So they're not flat in nature. They have form to them. So I'm going to add a little yellow just to bring out the branch. I don't know if you're able to really see that on the camera, but then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of black. Okay, so there's his branches. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually go back, add a little water. I'm gonna add a little bit of white on my brush, okay, with a tiny bit of blue, tiny bit of blue. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna add some shading around the side and bottom of my snowballs. That way they have some form, okay? So you're just kind of adding a few little wispy brushes here and there with white and a tiny bit of blue. Okay, I don't know if that you can really pick that up on the camera. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue, and I'm gonna do the same down here in the snow so it looks like kind of a snowdrift. And then last but not least, I'm gonna just touch the white paint and I'm gonna do some snowflakes, just some little dots of white. And really, boys and girls, I mean, you could work on this longer, okay, adding things, but I know that everybody doesn't have all day to work on this. We only have a short time, so hopefully you can get enough done in the classroom, and then later on, if you want to add more after school or at home, you can do that. You could always use markers or colored pencil if you don't have paint. Okay, so there's my finished and complete snowman. I hope that you all had a great time and have a very wonderful winter break. See you all later.